Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Daniel Lukayode Adeyemo, and thank you for being a part of this week's episode of Your Business with Accent Nominees. Last week, we examined a very important topic. We looked at the factors, the things we should look at when trying to finance our startups. But this week, we'll be going specific by looking at certain viable options that can help with financing our startups. So, partnership is what we're going to be looking at today, of course. And partnership, when the word partnership is mentioned in today's business world, what readily comes to mind is probably general partnership, because that's what readily comes to mind, right? So, looking at general partnership, we can say that it consists of, two or more people termed general partners who come together to actually, do business together to advance their mutual interest and at the end of the day to gain profits. Now, going from there, let's about our mind to the fact that there's a law that actually governs all this. I mean, business and non-business formations. So now, the law that governs this in Nigeria has helped, has gone ahead to help entrepreneurs in, making business easy. How did they do this? They established a system whereby you as an entrepreneur can enter into a partnership agreement and still have a limited liability. So what do I mean? The general form of partnership is such that some set of general partners come together, and in a case where there is a debt or there's a loss, they are liable to that debt. They are personally liable to that debt, jointly and severally. And let's even break it down to a very simple term. They are going to pay every dime of it. But then the innovation we have now allows a partner, as long as he is a limited partner, to actually, to actually be limited in terms of, when it comes to paying for that debt, in the sense that you as a partner, let's say you advanced, a certain amount of money into a partnership. So once there's a business debt, they can't charge you, beyond that amount you contributed to the partnership. Now, how has the Nigerian law helped with this? They've created two other forms of partnership, in addition to the general partnership. We have the limited liability partnership, and then we have the limited partnership. So now, in talking about the liability thing, in general partnership, I already explained it already, that the partners there are, you can see they're kind of unlimited, they have kind of like an unlimited liability. That is, they ensure that, the old debt is paid. All the general partners, they pay for the old debt where there is a debt. But for, the limited liability partnership or the limited partnership, just the way it is called, their liabilities are limited. Now, let's move on to, there's one more thing. Now, under general partnership, the general partners make decisions that affect the business. So they are the ones that actually make the decisions that affect the business. On the other hand, for limited partnership, the limited partners actually, they basically just invest, and then they are not really into the business decisions that affect the company. So they are kind of like outside of that angle. So another thing is for limited partners partnership and for limited liability partnership, there's a little bit of difference. We understand that for general partnership, all the partners there are general partners. Now, for limited partnership, basically you need to have at least one general partner and at least one limited partner, right? So now for limited, that's for limited partnership. Now for limited liability partnership, you don't really, there's no room for a general partner. All the partners here are limited partners. Do you get that? So let's quickly look at something else. Let's look at why a partnership might not work. When you want to enter into a partnership, the person you are trying to get in to be a partner with, you need to agree on certain things. And this might seem a bit commonsensical, but let's look at some of these things. Now, a partnership might fail where the partners do not share same values and interests. So this is ordinarily, expected. You can't expect to want to partner with someone on something and not share mutual interest and everything. Because at the end of the day, the partnership goal will not, you'll be unable to actually, fulfill or accomplish the partnership goal that you intended in the beginning. Now, where the partners do not share risk, responsibilities and benefits, of course, especially the benefits, honestly. When you are doing business with someone and then the other party is not really sharing, the benefits that comes with the partnership, the partnership is going to break up. Where there's inequalities in the partner's resources and expertise, and it affects decision making. Where one party just makes decision, and it kind of feels like superior to the other person, it will not really work out. It seems commonsensical, like I said, but then that is what it is. When one partner has all the power and drives the process, you know, it's a partnership, not a sole proprietorship. A partnership requires like two people coming together to work. So when one person is making decisions and ignoring the other person, the partnership is going to break up. Another one is where a partner has hidden motivation. He has hidden stuff without actually sharing it with the other partner. You are partners, for God's sake. You need to come together and work together. So the partnership will break up. Now, the partners do not have the training. Where the partners do not have the training to identify issues or resolve internal conflicts, it will surely break up. Now, let's look at advantages of partnership. Why is it that we're proposing like partnership as a means? We're not actually proposing it. It is a means, of sourcing for funds when you're just starting up your business. Of course, key advantages of partnership are as follows. With many partners, a business has more sources of capital. Now, look at it. You have a business where you have like 6 partners, and of course, those partners, they will contribute to the partnership, of course. So you have, and provided, of course, you guys share you share similar interests, you have, similar values, and this person brings certain amount of money, the other person brings, so you are not short of fund in any way. So that's like the key advantage. Now, another one is it is possible for multiple people with diverse skill sets, to work together, So this also creates rooms for specialization, where this person is good at certain things, this person is good at this person is good at that, and they come together to work together. It brings room for specialization, which in turn also brings, income, because, of course, someone will need the service of the area of specialization of one of the partners, and then from there we get tons of income coming in for the partnership. Now, partnership allows for brainstorming opportunities, of course. 2 heads are better than one. The normal thing is, when there are not issues to be trashed out, you come together as partners, and then you look at some of these issues that are on ground, whatever it is, and then you discuss and you brainstorm. It's easier for 2 or more to actually look into all these issues than for a person to actually, wrap his head or her head around issues that come up in the business. Now, partnership allows for brainstorming opportunities. For a limited partnership, partners have limited liabilities. So this one, we are bringing in a bit of limited partnership to this. For, like I mentioned earlier, limited partners have limited liabilities. And of course, this allows for, investors to actually come into the business to invest. We understand that this issue of this limited nature is kind of like drawn from, the company kind of situation, because I'm sure you're very familiar with limited liability companies and everything. So this is an innovation that's actually brought in that feature to help partners to actually do things together. So the partner A brings in certain amount of money, partner B brings a certain amount of money. They are now liable to the extent of the amount they've contributed. Now, let's look at legal implications. So ordinarily, like I mentioned, for general partnership, the general partner will be jointly, general partner or partners would usually be jointly or severally liable for, for business debt whatsoever. So that is what it is like. The general partners are usually fully liable, like there are no limits to their liabilities. But when it comes to limited partnerships and limited liability partnerships, we have these people, they are limited in terms of, their commitment, where there's a debt on ground. All they do is, like a company, they contribute to the extent of what they actually owe. So that's how it goes with that. Now, it's very also important for us to look at protecting the interest of the founder of the business. Now, this is how it is. At the beginning, you're desperate, or probably you're not desperate. You're trying to find someone. Probably you think partnership is what will work for you, and then you're trying to look for this person to work with me and everything, and then you eventually find a person that you feel, this guy is really talented, this guy is really good, he also has the money and everything. Don't be too carried away, because you don't know what the future holds. Anything happens. So it is advised, that you create an agreement. That we evidence certain clauses that will guide your relationship, that will state the terms of your relationship. Things might be going well for you at the beginning. If you decide based on that okay, there's no need for an agreement, that will be fine, and things happen in the future, you have yourself to blame at that point. So it's important to create a partnership agreement that, clearly state out the terms of your partnership. Right. So now some of those clauses include, of course, the name of the business address, of your of the partnership, the duration of the partnership. Most partnerships usually they usually specify, okay, we want this thing to run for like 15 years. After 15 years, we dissolve. So if you want something like that, you state it in the partnership agreement. The capital contribution of the partners. So the amount you're contributing. If Mr. Johnson is contributing, 5%, depending, you can use ratio, you can use percentage, you state it in the partnership agreement. Now, we have profit and loss sharing. We earlier mentioned this anyways. The amount you contribute as a limited partner, for example, is to that extent you'll be liable. Right? So where there are profits, it's just a calculation. They will calculate it based on the amount you've put into the business. Someone that put in like 70%, that owns 70% of the partnership, will ordinarily get more profit than someone that has 30 or 20 or less. So that's just the way it is. And then in terms of loss as well, like we earlier mentioned, where there is a business debt or whatsoever, you'll be liable to the extent, as a limited partner, to the extent of your contribution as well. So another one is bankers of the partners. In the partnership agreement, one thing you would need to state is which bank will be your financial institution. You state it, is this Zenith Bank, is it UBA, is it GT Bank? You specify, right? So another thing is the remuneration or salary. So you might choose to not want to pay salary, you might choose not to pay, but then when you choose not to pay, you need to state it in that agreement that, oh, we're not paying salaries, maybe except for out-of-pocket expenses, whatsoever you specify. But whatever amount it is you're going to pay, you're going to state it in the partnership agreement. Another one now is the mode of dispute resolution. Of course, even husband and wives, they have issues, in the course of the marriage, and they settle and everything. As partners, issues will usually arise, and let's say this one escalates and it's beyond what you two can handle. It's very important for the sake of the future to state the number of, to state the mode through which you would want to resolve that dispute. So if it's litigation, if it's alternative dispute resolution, maybe mediation, conciliation, and the rest, you state it in the agreement that this is how we are going to settle disputes that arise in the future, if any. Now, so just to end everything, it's very important that, partnership is just one of those, those viable tools you can use to source for funds for your company, for a company you're just trying to start. But if you feel like, in your own opinion, that this doesn't really work for me, you should stay tuned, because subsequent weeks from now, we'll be looking at, some other tools, some other options that can be available to you as a business person or as an intending business person. So you can look into some of these things and, make the best out of it. So just to wrap up, if you have any questions, to wrap everything up, if you have any questions, if you feel there are certain issues I've not really trashed out, or you can reach out to us via the comment below and just write whatever it is you feel, and then we'll get back to you. All right, I think that will be all for now. Thank you for watching.